Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a review, demo, try on of the Maybelline SuperStay foundation. I bought this a few weeks ago and have tried it, and I have definite opinions on what I think about it. I'd like to share what my thoughts are on it. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm kind of in a rush. I just got back from the gym, and so I've got to hurry up and get my day started. So anyway, I am in the shade Sun Beige or 310. So I'm going to start out with my usual primer, and you know the drill. It's the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Primer. Look at how much I've used of it. I'm so proud. I'm going to zip right through this. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. So yeah, I'll be right back. For those of you that are new to my channel, my method for testing these foundations out is to use my usual primer and use it in the way that I normally do. I apply my foundation with the sponge. I don't apply it with the brush. I just don't like the brush strokes. In my own opinion, foundation looks best with a beauty sponge because it looks really airbrushed. It looks just really nice on the skin, I think. So that is the reason that I use that method. And honestly, I apologize, but I don't have time in the mornings to be using two different tools. I'm always in a rush in the mornings, and especially so lately. So I'm just gonna kind of do what I normally do. I only check in once at the end of the day to let you know my thoughts on the foundation, you know, how it lasted, to show you how it lasted. I also show you how it plays with concealer. So I will be putting my concealer on in this segment of the video as well. So what I'm gonna do is first I'm gonna give it a shake. I'm gonna do about a pump and a half and just go ahead and start applying that to my face. And what I have found initially for this foundation, it is very thick and it is extremely full coverage. I mean, this is like Estee Lauder Double Wear kind of coverage, I think. It's got that going for it. I find that I don't really need to build this up because one pass is usually enough. As you can see, it's canceled out a lot of what's going on my skin, and my litmus test is always these little capillaries, broken capillaries that I have, and I think probably a pump and a half was probably too much, but oh well, c'est la vie. You can tell that it has got some extreme coverage. It's a lot more coverage than I'm used to. Normally I am a skin-like finish kind of gal, but for an event or something like that, I definitely go for something that is full coverage. Okay, so onward to my concealer. Ooh, I'm sorry. I have my smoothie here. No, it is not wine. It is a smoothie. It's 8 a.m. I've got to hurry. And I find that the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer is a good match for this because I tend to think that if you're wearing a high coverage foundation or a full coverage foundation, your concealer should also be, you know, at the same level. Otherwise it looks too weird. And then the same goes for a light coverage or a light to medium coverage foundation. You don't want to use a really heavy concealer. Another good concealer I think that would work well with this foundation would be the Tarte Shape Tape. I have that and I do use it, but it's a little bit too thick for me. Although I have been drinking a lot more water, and that always translates on the skin, especially the under eye area. So I might give that a try now that I've been really good about trying to stay really hydrated, and I have noticed the effects on my skin. It's just amazing to me how something so simple like drinking water helps you so much in the skin area. I've gotten my concealer on, and the powder I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and stick with Maybelline. Did I bring it? I didn't bring it. Never mind. I'm going to use my Too Faced Peach Perfect powder, and I think I'm going to use it all over my face because I'm in a rush and I need to be quick. So going in with a big fluffy brush. I like this powder because it is mattifying. Of course, this is a mattifying foundation, so I'm going to be like super matte, which is something that I try to avoid, but it is a part of this foundation review. And as you can see, I don't know, well, I can see in the viewfinder that I look really powdery. So I am definitely mattified. All right, so I'm going to bring you in a little bit more close so that you can kind of see the finish on my skin. I am so covered, but I am so matte. All right, so here I am up close and personal, and you should be able to kind of see, hopefully, the texture of my skin. It's not settling into the fine lines here on my mouth just yet. It's not caking up on the side of my nose. It is giving me a tremendous amount of coverage, but what I will say is that the wrinkles right here along my lower eye are very much pronounced. And I'm not sure that you're going to be able to see it because of my lighting, but I can definitely see it. Now, again, I am looking at a really, at an 8 times magnification mirror, so it does let me see everything. And people aren't going to be looking at you that close and personal. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish my makeup, and then I will check back in before I head out for the day. So I will be back in a few minutes. I'm not dressed yet, but I have completed my makeup, and I will go run and get dressed here in a bit, but I figured I would come on and just talk a little bit about the makeup. Exactly what I've experienced in the past. Just to start out, my skin looks so dry with this foundation. Right now, I'm not happy with the way my skin looks. I look very dry. I have a lot of dryness right here on my chin. I can see all of the lines and wrinkles and the texture of my skin on my chin. And it is starting to settle into those lines a little bit, but that's kind of normal. I'm not too upset about that, but my skin just looks parched. It looks very, very dry. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and spray this down with a fix spray, because I think the mattifying powder is also having an effect. I'm going to go ahead and spray. I've got this spray set Go that I got from a BoxyCharm box eons ago. Not a favorite, but I will say that it is very hydrating. I mean, you know, it does provide a lot of dewiness. So let's hope I can bring some dewiness back to my face, because I have absolutely none right now. Oh, let me go ahead and zoom you in first though before I do it, so that you can kind of hopefully see what I'm talking about. I can definitely see the texture. I can see the texture, maybe not in the camera, but I can definitely see the texture in person. And I can see right here, you can definitely start, you can see the wrinkles a little bit, you know, my 11s as they call them. Yeah, so this is very, very, very drying. All right, let's go ahead and let's spray down. To see if we can get rid of some of this powderiness. It's not quite dried down, but it is looking a little bit more dewy. It's looking a lot less dry, so that's good. I definitely don't look powdery anymore, but I will say that I can still see the wrinkling on my chin, which most foundations don't emphasize that. And it's like it's settling into all of those little lines that I have on my chin, and it's making my skin look really old. Just this is off the bat. I haven't had a chance, you know, we haven't had a chance yet for the oils to kind of come through and all of that stuff, so I'm going to withhold final judgment. I have tried this in the past. I was road testing it for a few days, for about a week. Sorry, I'm just observing my skin and observing what's happening with the setting powder. I'm sorry, with the setting spray. It is helping my face to look less powdery, so that's good. This foundation so far, very, very matte. Very, very drying looking though at the same time. And we're going to go ahead and I'm going to continue wearing it throughout the day. I will check in probably at around 6:30 Pacific Standard Time this evening and let you know how it looks at the end of the day, let you know how the coverage held up, how the foundation held up, all of that fun stuff. But for the time being right now, I'm so with it because it is making my skin look a little bit craggy. So, all right, guys, I've got to run and I will see you in about 8 or 9 hours. Hi, everyone. I am back and I apologize. I don't have my phone with me. So if you can see right here, maybe not so clearly, maybe clearly, it is about 6:30 p.m. And I just wanted to do my end of day check-in to let you know my thoughts on the foundation. So let's go ahead and have a look. Right now it is looking a little bit dewy. There is a slight amount of breaking up on my nose, meaning that it's looking like it's settling into my pores. It did settle into my fine lines, but now that my oils have come through, it doesn't look as bad. It doesn't look as dry, but I can definitely see the fine lines on my chin, and I'll zoom you in here in just a second to show you. The coverage is still really good though. I still have a nice full coverage. Even these little capillaries here have not come through, which usually at this point by the end of the day I would have those little guys would be showing. It's not breaking apart anywhere on my face, except for it looks like it's breaking up a little bit on the tip of my nose. But again, you know, if you've watched my other foundation reviews, that's kind of normal for me because I tend to rub my nose. Ooh, I definitely have marks on the side of my face though, where the foundation, on this side at any rate, where the foundation lifted off because of my glasses. So that's not cool because it is definitely visible, and I will show you here in just a second. The one thing I would say about this foundation is that it tends to emphasize texture, and let me go ahead and zoom you in while I kind of talk you through that. So it tends to emphasize texture. You can see all of the pores on my face, and up this close you can kind of see those red veins peeking through, but just a tiny bit. Definitely better than any other foundation that I own though. I mean, it's looking really a lot better. My nose, it is breaking apart, and on my chin, I'm going to try and bring you in a little bit closer. All right, so bringing you in super close so that you can see maybe how it's breaking up on my nose. Also what's going on my chin. I mean, this is the one area where I look really aged in this area because I've got a lot of fine lines, and you know, here on my chin, and I'm looking really aged in that area. I think also on my cheeks right around here, you know, you can see the pores a lot. It's really emphasizing the texture. And on my forehead, you know, you can kind of see the lines and wrinkles and the texture on my forehead, but not nearly as bad as down here on my chin. And that's because my chin, even though I have a combination to oily T-zone, my chin is actually dry. My T-zone generally extends down to about my nose, and you know, that's really where I guess I have a little T, not a big T. So those are some of the things that I've seen. I'm going to go ahead and zoom you out so I can wrap up. Those are some of the things that I have observed with this foundation. It really does emphasize the texture of my skin. Even though it is very full coverage, I still feel like it does sink into the pores a little bit. It doesn't, like, you can't see little dots where my pores are, but you can definitely see my pores. It is an extremely matte formula, which means essentially that it is going to be very dry, and that is exactly what I experience with this foundation. My skin looks very dry. It looks really textured. It doesn't sit on the skin in the same way that the Estee Lauder Double Wear does. I think the Estee Lauder Double Wear is the closest dupe to this SuperStay foundation, to the Maybelline SuperStay foundation. The difference though between the Estee Lauder Double Wear and the SuperStay is that the Double Wear doesn't tend to emphasize the texture of my face. It does a little bit, but not to this extent. Otherwise, coverage-wise, they're almost a dead-on match to each other. Longevity, same thing, because I think I could probably continue wearing this for another 5 or 6 hours and it would still look really good. The only thing that I don't like about it, and this is just my personal preference, is I prefer a medium coverage foundation just because I don't like looking like I'm wearing foundation. Will I wear this to an event or something like that? No. I think that I get much better. I have a much better finish with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. I think that that one is actually very beautiful and it's very lightweight. I don't feel it on my skin. I don't really feel this on my skin a whole lot, but I can definitely see it. Whereas with the Photo Focus, it just looks like I have really nice skin. Personally, I don't think that I like the Maybelline SuperStay foundation all that much. Let me tick off everything that I've observed. It has very full coverage. It is very matte. It settles into the fine lines and wrinkles on your face. It is long lasting though, and it does have a decent shade range. So I think that if you have oily skin, this is going to be a great foundation for you. If you have anything other than oily skin though, just know that with aging skin, you're probably going to run the risk of your skin looking really dry, and with this foundation kind of settling into the pores and into the fine lines. So I would say a thumbs down for those of us that are, you know, over the age of 40 or have, you know, texture or wrinkles on our face. I don't think that this is going to be a good foundation for you. I don't think that you're going to enjoy it. Those are my thoughts. And yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you are not subscribed to my channel and you enjoyed this content, please make sure to hit the subscribe button on your way out and also the notification bell. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel out. Thank you again so much for watching, and I really appreciate it. I will see you in my next video. Bye!